Oh, goodness. Okay, hello classmate and tutor. My name is Sugey Daza. I am in the group number 1 and it is a pleasure to be here with you today. The topic that I'm going to share with you is the use of WhatsApp as a learning strategy. Although we all know how and use these tools, I want to start by explaining what is WhatsApp. Okay? According to the digital trends page, WhatsApp is a multi-platform of instant message applications uh, that was created in 2009, which allows users to make video calls, voice calls, and send text messages. It works with internet connection on phones and computers 24 hours. WhatsApp, it did not created for educational purposes, but in the globalized context in which we find ourselves, the use of new technologies change and evolves the way of communicating with society, adapting to different purposes, and how WhatsApp allows access to quick information. It was easy to adapt it to the educational processes that underwent significant changes because of the pandemic and social isolations, which closed all possibilities of giving face-to-face classes in schools. Teachers had to rely on new technology to integrate the teaching aids, material, resources, and student interactions in digital networks that were previously only recreational or informal communications channels. In WhatsApp application, they found a series of characteristics that, as a learning strategy, helped not generate more stress for parents who accompany the training of students from home, such as the installation process and registration in these applications was easy and fast from a phone number. WhatsApp works on desktops, laptops, and mobile devices with the same benefits and characteristics. It requires an internet connection, but most mobile phone operators offer it for free or for a very low cost. WhatsApp offers messaging with real-time interactions in text, audio, video format from the same applications. It allows the user to forward messages, disseminate massive information, and create messages enriched with its resources, and the creation of groups where they can interact. It was a quite challenge for the teachers, especially those who work in public and rural schools, because of the socioeconomic conditions of the students. They consider the social network WhatsApp the best application to integrate teaching and learning processes with the homeschooling. Teachers started using WhatsApp as a learning strategy that promotes communications. WhatsApp offers easy access to the contents of the class in a friendly virtual environment that can be used in all grades, making it easier for the students to discover knowledge and share information immediately in different formats such as PowerPoint, Word, or Excel, and that at the same time doesn't have a high cost for family. An important aspect, since according to the Ministry of Communications, 50% of households in Colombia do not have a service fixed internet, and they also don't have a fixed income to buy daily connection packages. WhatsApp covered the expectations and needs of teachers and students offering the possibility of maintaining contact in real time, overcoming barriers of time and space, besides developing pedagogical sessions that, mediated by these applications, motivate and promote learning. Let's talk about the benefits, okay? Some benefits of using WhatsApp as a learning strategy are that being one application most used by students, it generates greater class applications, participations. The students takes an active role which motivates him to share material and relevant information on the topic proposed for the class, interacting and communicating directly with the teacher and his other classmates, promoting learning and collaborative work, while the teacher can provide advice to the students on time. It is necessary to say that the students who participate in this strategy are self-regulated. They are able of planning, direct, and establish their objective to favor their learning and apply knowledge in different contexts. And as a bonus, they can develop their oral and reading skills easily. As a conclusion, in this time when it's safer to be at home, the use of technological resources improves training processes. Teachers must continue looking for new strategies and resources that transforms the way of imparting knowledge from this new social reality, guiding learning in pleasant environment for the students. WhatsApp as an effective strategy and economic resource raises educational quality and encourages students to continue researching, sharing, and creating their knowledge and improving their skills. And using WhatsApp as a learning strategy in an orderly manner streamlines the training processes and ensures reaching greater number of students, becoming a positive resource to advance and improve the teaching and learning processes. That was my presentation. Thank you for listening to me. And I'm going to share my references. And that's it. Dear tutor. Let me try to find. Okay.
Okay, Sugey, thank you very much. It was clear that you understood this topic very much and that you make a very well and detailed presentation about the aspects that you were going to mention, right? So according to that, we are going to go to the other part that is about the questions, okay? I want to start with the questions and then I want to go and give the word for the other audience. So hey, this is a very interesting topic that concerns everyone because you know that communication and media is something that is helping us to do different activities, okay? And it does not matter if it's in education or also in other fields of the progress, right? Because it's a tool that you can use to work. But referring to your presentation is about teaching. And I think that you have considered the idea that the students that are going to use this application are young people, right? So it implies different things. For example, are you going to use your private number to create the WhatsApp group with your students? Or maybe you are going to use an institutional cell phone that it has anything to do with your personal life, because remember that WhatsApp is going to be something that you are going to share your moments of of your personal life, and maybe your students are going to be participants of those moments that maybe is not necessary, because remember that as teachers we also have our personal life. So how can you handle that situation about, or maybe having the number of your students, maybe you are going to see some pictures that are not appropriated, and it's not because you don't want, it's because sometimes you just go there and you start to watch the things that people just present to the media, to the audience, because remember that when people share things, we all are the audience of that. So how can you handle that situation? How can you organize this amazing tool for education, but considering that is something that is about personal life as well, where students have their own lives and teachers as well?
Okay, teacher. In fact, I use this strategy for my pedagogical practice at the UNAD, and I consider that I found a number different to my personal to my personal number, and even I bought another cell phone because I receive a lot of evidence, a lot of stats of my student, and my student was in first grade. They are very, very little children. They are very, um, they are between 7 and 8 years, or 8 years maybe, and I did that. I found another number and I create my groups in other cell phones, and I receive all this evidence, all these messages. And actually now I am receive my messages. I receive messages from them. They are saying, okay, dear tutor, happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
That's what
And
I mean. That's what I
yes,
mean. When
yes,
students
and
start to get in your personal life, not to things about teaching, like a question about the lesson or things like that, but they start to say, good morning, good evening, that is a beautiful dress that you have in that picture, teacher. So how can you handle that situation?
well, for now, I maintain my this cell phone turn off, and I try to respond all these messages because I consider that they were a lot during these 2 months, and I think that it's necessary that they found in my message something different to the task. Okay, I say, okay, I appreciate that. Thank you for your messages, and I try to answer, and I prepare emoticons with my face. And I say, okay, good morning, hello, thank you, it's my pleasure, something like that, or sending kisses, for example. But I change the number, I change my cell phone because
Yeah.
uh, it's a problem when the teacher not organize the groups, the message, the information that can or cannot send it to the students. I think
Yeah, I
I did
understand.
that, and I my work was very good. I think for this strategy. I
Okay.
think.
I understand. And you know that sometimes it can happen. But other thing that it was like particular is that you said that you bought the device so that you
Yes.
can give your lessons. So it means that is something that you planned, and it's like a project that is not like something institutional, right? Because if you
No.
propose that like an institutional process, maybe you can design like a project in which parents and students, they get familiar with the etiqueta, for example. That is
I
something that
create
they can
that.
learn about that.
I write a protocol for my class, and that was the first message that I wrote in every group that I create, because it's important that the families know that they can send something different to the class, something information different to the class. For example, religious messages or political messages. No,
Perfect. So
this
you
is my class.
settle
I,
down the
I,
rules
I
before
explain that.
starting using
Yes,
the groups. Okay.
I
So,
explain
hey,
that. I
thank you
say,
very
okay,
much.
this is my classroom and you don't have to do that.
Let's just go to change the topic and let's go to ask Jerly what is the question that she is going to ask you. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jerly, please.
Okay, partner. My question is, what do you think about the e-learning education using WhatsApp?
Okay, I think that when you use all these new technologies to apply to your classes, helps a lot. For example, in my experience in my community, there are very poor families, and just I need to find the best virtual environment that they can or they know, because sometimes they don't know all these environments. I can use Classroom. I think that we all know Classroom. For example, the tutorial videos, maybe Santos, or maybe you, Yerli, you know that tools. But my families, the families of my students, didn't know these apps, and you need to find, to investigate what is your the characteristics of the your scenario, educational scenario. And but I use some games in a virtual tools. For example, I use um, EducaPlay. Was a good help because my student can play with their cell phones, and was a good experience. But not all the family know this application, know these learning environments. You need to focus in your scenario, in your educational scenario, because you have to use the thing that they can use, that they know, that they can apply with their sons in this moment where the parents are a important part of the education of the students in all grades, I think.
Thank you, Suhei, and thank you, Jerly. Now, for the next question, Suhei, I want you please to be careful with the time, okay? So try to simplify the answer in
Okay.
a very well-structured statement so that everything can be clear, but in a short moment, okay? Let's go with Santos, please. Santos, can you please go and ask your question?
Okay, so hey, why do you think that WhatsApp is important in our daily life?
Okay, I think it's important because all the people in the world, maybe, I think, use these applications for works, for education, for communicate, for fun. I think all use these tools, and it's a cheaper tools that we can use in your cell phone. I think that is different resources that we can use with these applications
Okay,
in
thank you.
different contexts. Teacher, I can hear you. Your micro is
Thank you, sorry.
okay.
Now let's go to Elia. Thank you, Santos and Jerly. You already have your questions. And what about you, Elia? Do you have a question for Suhei?
Okay, so hey, do you agree with the political of the use of WhatsApp?
I think that it depends that when you have to use this application. For example, I create my own protocol. I say, okay, my dear families, you can do that, you can write that, you cannot do that, I think. But That is what happened with the information that the people that use these apps, I don't know, I think it's out of our hands, I think.
Okay, so all of you already asked a question. I did my questions as well. And now I'm going to provide a little feedback so that I can stop recording. Thank you very much, Suhei, because you show that you know things that are very important to mention about the use of these like common social media that is very popular nowadays, right? Because everyone uses it, as I said before, for different purposes, right? Your
Right.
presentation was very accurate because you designed something that was very like visual for the audience so that we can get the context of the things that you were saying over there and things like that. So in that part, everything was perfect. The handling of the presentation, it was like just going in a slide, you know, going like very, very relaxed there in the slide because you are going to get to the swimming pool in which you are going to just splash everyone. So you were feeling like that. And that is something nice because the other people is going to be just relaxed and is going to understand you because you don't have pressures in the pronunciation or the fluency, right?
Right. Thank you. I
Otherwise,
appreciate that.
or however, I want you to be careful with sometimes with the past of the verbs. Remember that irregular verbs, when they finish with ed, you have to be
Mhm.
careful because sometimes it's the T sound, the D sound, or the ed sound, like fixed, for example. Sometimes we say work it, or we say it, I don't know, like all
Reached.
of them reading the ed, but it's not necessary to read the ed in the old times. And also in the phonetics or the pronunciation, the words that starts with S, right? Like student,
Students.
strategy, or start, or things like that, because you know that the S in Spanish is ese, ese.
Mhm.
So
Ese.
we need, tenemos que ponerle esa E, si no, no nos suena bien a nosotros, okay? But in English, it's different because it's not going to be like a student. Mira cómo suena la a
E.
student. No, student, student.
Students.
Speak,
Okay.
strategy, because that is going to be the sound, the proper sound for those words.
Thank you.
But it was okay, okay? So the next questions, guys, I want you to be careful because the questions were like, what do you think or why is it important? But she already said what she thought about that and she said why was important. So you were just repeating questions so that she can repeat some part of the presentation. Remember that the questions, they have to be something that you want to know about that, not something that you already listened to. Okay, so that's going to be for the next section, and I'm going to stop recording right now. So hey, thank you very much. It was great, your presentation. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for your comment.